Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to No Ma'am, the podcast where we talk shit and throw a little bit of shade at everything and everyone. We'll have you saying no ma'am in no time. I'm your host, Willy Will, and this is my co-host.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of No Ma'am.
Awesome. Well, we're back for another episode of No Ma'am, and I was about to say unfortunately, but fortunately, we are still reviewing Drag Race Down Under Season 4. Today is all about episode 4, which is the design challenge. And now I know, like I previously said, like girl groups was one of my favorite challenges on Drag Race, but design challenges are my second favorite. With girl groups, we get to know who can't dance, but with the design challenges, we get to know who can't sew. How you
They
feel
are
about the
also,
challenge?
I love design challenges. They are my second favorite, right behind any like improv challenge. Sorry, are you getting an echo
No, I'm fine on my end. You have an echo?
in my head? Yeah, I think it's fine now. Anyway, yeah, I love design challenges because I think it's always funny when the girls are like, I can't sew. It's been what, like 50 seasons of Drag Race and you still can't sew?
Right. But yeah, I honestly don't understand why the girls can't sew. Like, when you are thinking about Drag Race and you're thinking about going on Drag Race, at least know how to sew a little garment, right? Like a pattern or something. You don't have to be like an extravagant, like seamstress, like a Mandy Moobs, right? But like, at least know how to sew something. I don't
At
understand
least
why
know
the
how to
girls
put
just
two
never know
pieces
how
of
to sew.
fabric together.
At least do that. Like, I mean, and we're gonna get into this. Actually, before we even get into this, what I'm really excited for this episode was that they didn't suck. Like they didn't bomb.
No, actually, I don't think any of them really bombed. I think even the queens that ended up being in the bottom, they weren't terrible. I think everyone did sufficiently well. They all had adequate dresses. I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah. Right. And so honestly, like nobody was the booger, so to speak. And so I was like, wow, like as a whole, when you look at them, I was like, wow, like majority of them looked good. I said,
Hmm.
wow, this is the first time this has happened which like majority, even the ones that didn't know how to sew, they still turned out something, which I was like, this is interesting. It's like, oh,
Yeah, they did their
all
thing with
right.
that hot glue
So
gun.
that's what made me excited for the episode. Yes, with the hot glue gun for sure. And just to, give some of the viewers a recap for last episode. So last episode was Snatch Game. And it was very underwhelming. So Jhoany and I both was like, no, ma'am. Majority of the whole entire episode. It probably was our shadiest episode ever that we've done so far. And just, we apologize if the shade was a little too much for some people. But that's just how we felt. That was our honest opinions. But last week, Brenda Bress was the winner of the challenge. And the bottom, it wasn't a bottom 2, but it was a bottom 3. And the bottom 3 was Max Drag Queen, Karna Ford, and Nikita Iman. And unfortunately, but fortunately, Karna Ford went home. And do you still agree with that decision?
Yes, 100%. But not you being shaded with the
Awesome. Oh,
fortunately.
I agree. Unfortunately, but fortunately, yes. I mean, at the same, I think it was her time to go. Like, no shade to Karna. I think it's an amazing drag queen. I think she has tremendous amount of potential. I just think she needed to bake a little longer. And the fact that she really didn't show who she was, it's a testament to that. So I think so far Michelle is doing a good job at eliminating the queens who need to go. Awesome. All right. So in the beginning of this episode, we get to see that Mandy Moobs and Vibe are feeling like they're being edged. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to be edged. I don't see the point in it. I think it's really weird and it's gross. I think it's just a wasted opportunity to actually do it. If you're going to do it, just finalize the whole thing. Like, don't just like leave me on it and stop. Like, no. And the reason why is because majority of the episodes, they have been at the top. They haven't won, but they've been close to winning. So, um, I don't know. I love the healthy competition between Vibe, Mandy Moves, and Lazy Susan.
I agree. I think they're definitely giving like the trio to beat. All three of them have, for the most part, been very consistent. And I think those are the three to watch. And I do love that healthy competition. And I don't mind a little edging sometimes. Sometimes.
You would. I don't know. It depends on the situation. Also depends on the person. So I don't know how I feel about being edged. I don't know. I guess it's like the reward has to, I don't know, the payout, and it's just a lot. But anywho, the queens asked Lucina how she feels being the first time safe. That was so shady.
That
Like,
was
why
that
are these queens
was.
so shady?
I love how shady they are.
You know, they are coming with the shade this season. This is probably the shadiest season of Drag Race Down Under yet.
I think so. I mean, honestly, I didn't really watch the whole entirety of three, but compared to the first two, it definitely is a lot shadier.
Yes, I think 3 was like everyone's best friend. I think it was RuPaul's best friend race. I think 2 was kind of shady because obviously they had Hanaconda and they had Queen Kong on that season, so that was kind of like shady, and so they were funny. And then season 1, you had what was her name? What was her name? What was in season? Who was season 1? Who was the
Art?
shady one in season 1? Yes, Art Simone. You had Art Simone, and who was the other one that did blackface? What was her name?
Karen from Finance?
Scarlett something, right?
No, Scarlett.
No, did she do blackface?
I think they. I think.
Scarlett
I think
Adams or something.
Karen. It was Scarlett Adams. I think Karen had like a tattoo of like a blackface doll or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember there was controversy between those two. But I think that season was also really shady too. But because, we won't be seeing them in the top because they won't be in the finals. Like, that was amazing. That was such an amazing, it's a really good one.
I
Art Simone
think
did that. That was amazing.
that might be my favorite read of all time.
They haven't been in the top,
It
so
was
we
just
won't
so
be seeing
smart.
them in the final. Shout out to Art Simone because that was a really great play on the non-binary pronouns of they and them and making it fun but also lighthearted at the same time. That was so good. So shout out to Art Simone for that. All right, so back in the workroom, Michelle comes in and she tells the queens that they need to make outfits for the main stage. So the design challenge category is make it. But the fabric will come from a game called Whatcha Unpacking. Normally, Whatcha Packing is Michelle's like YouTube series, which kind of like a Tic Tac launch inspired for the Eliminated Queens on the American season of Drag Race. So this would be a really fun game to just watch unpacking. And so the queens need to answer questions based on the group's response. So what did you think about this game?
It was shady as fuck, and I was living the whole time. I thought the answers were hilarious. I agreed with pretty much all of them, honestly. But I just love seeing the queen's reactions to their name being the answer.
Yes, I put in my notes, I was like, the game is super cute and creative, but then I was like, who am I fooling? This game is shady as fuck. Because the game is shady as fuck. Like, there is no getting around how shady the game is.
Yeah.
Like, it's meant to be shady as fuck. And I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. But before we even get into the challenge or the actual fun game, can we talk about the pit crew? That probably was the most inclusive, body inclusive pit crew that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but they were also, I think, some of the hottest we've ever seen. Like, I was there like Max with the binoculars. Like, which one am I looking at? I can't concentrate.
Yes, there was one in particular where I was like, "Give me more." I don't know. I was just like
the one that Max picked.
He just gave.
I think it was number 7. I don't remember which one it was. I love the one that Max picked, and I absolutely would have picked him too. Somebody give us his Instagram name.
He was good. The one that Nikita picked was cute. And I know, right? Somebody please find his Instagram. But I like that some of them had the indigenous tattoos or tribal tattoos. I thought that was nice. I just like how inclusive, body-wise, that pit crew was. And so all different shapes, sizes, colors. I thought that was great. And I was like, shout out to Down Under for being inclusive with the body sizes.
Pretty sure one of them even had a big scar on his abdomen, which is something we don't really see represented. And I thought that was great too. I kind of tried to look for it to see if it really did have it, but I couldn't really tell. But just from the angles I saw, it did look like they had somebody who had a surgery scar or something, whatever it was. But I thought that was also very inclusive, very important to point out.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did an amazing job at ensuring that the pit crew was someone for everyone can really enjoy. And I thought that was really great. So whoever thought that was, whatever producer did that, shout out to them because that was such a really great concept and a really great idea. But so Max Drag Queen, as you said, she's the first one up and she has to answer who is the most sexiest of drag. Now, I think if you've watched Down Under so far, then you know that Nikita is the trade of the season. So, the obvious answer is Nikita. is the sexiest out of drag. But I thought it was really funny that Max was like, well, my answer is different from the group.
Girl, we
So
all
who do
know
you
it's
think she
Freya.
picked?
It's Freya.
Like, what is going on between those two?
I don't know, but I'm not mad about it. I think they're cute together. Are we getting our second like romance on Drag Race?
I think
I think they're
so.
cute. And
They have a
later
little
on in the
kai-kai
episodes, a
happening.
little bit of a later on in the episode, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but like when Freya and Max are together, like while they're sewing, and then like Freya gets up and gives her a little kiss on the forehead as she's leaving. I thought that was so cute and so like heartwarming.
Yes, it gives me Brooklyn Heights and Vanjie for some reason. I don't know, but it was giving me that like those two. Yes, I just think like they was giving me that like showmanship, which was cute. It was very endearing. But I was in my head, I was like, well, that's two bottoms. Like I'm not bottom shaming at all, but in my head, I was like, wait, like who would be the verse in this situation? It was probably
Girl, you
giving me
never
Freya
know.
will be the verse. Like probably Freya will give me the verse. But these days, Max is probably a blouse, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I was just like, two bottoms. Maybe they'll get a third because open relationships is in now. So
Yeah, that and like, girl, you never know because look at Matthew Ross. Do you remember that whatever interview he did when he declared himself a top? I was flabbergasted.
yes, I think everyone was when Ross said he was a top. So you're right. That's a really good point. But Max chooses Nikita, even though she thinks Freya is probably the sexiest outside of drag. And the group thought it was Nikita because, again, shout out to Nikita, our good sis Nikita. She's a trade of the season. And so I thought
Absolutely.
Nikita was really funny when she said, of course, because I'm surrounded by dogs. That shit was
Yes,
funny.
that was hilarious. And I thought her big old smile right after she was announced. I thought that was so cute. And I was like, yeah, that's very on brand for her to be like, yeah, it's me.
Right. She's like, it's giving realness. Like, it is true. She is such a handsome man outside of drag. Like, beautiful drag queen, but like outside of drag is so handsome too. So best of both worlds. Then Lucina Innocent, she's next. And her question is, which queen suffers from drag delusion? Again, this is a really obvious answer.
Yeah. Nikita.
Yes. Nikita girl.
You
Nikita,
can't tell that girl
our sis is
anything.
delusional.
Yeah.
You cannot. Our sis is delusional. She's delusional. But Lazy
But we
Susan
love
put
her.
it better. Like, she put it, like, Lazy Susan did such an amazing job at summarizing, like, Nikita's drag. She goes, Nikita lives in this world where Nikita thinks her drag is amazing. She said, it's great, but it's deluded as hell, which is why her drag is amazing. And at the end of the day, Lazy Susan is right. Nikita is delusional, but we love her.
Absolutely.
So much funny. So Max, I forgot to see the fabric that Max got. So once Max answered the question right, she picked the box and she got checkered. I thought checkered was a really cute pattern for her. I think that was a really good idea for her to keep it and say that. And because Lucina, she got the question right, her box had florals. Again, I thought another great fabric choice for Lucina. I was really excited to see what she can do with florals.
Yeah, I think both of them were very
Next up,
safe options. And I think,
yeah,
like, if I just wanted to get through the challenge, I would have chosen one of those two. If I wanted to do something more creative, I would have chosen a different fabric. But I think they were both like perfectly safe options. And I think it suited their drag styles very well.
Yes, I agree. And then Nikita, she's the next one. And her question is, which queen has the most pedestrian drag? I thought this one was the funniest one ever because I thought it was simple. Like, I kind of figured what the group was going to say. I knew they was going to say Nikita. Like, Nikita's pearls fell off from the first day. So if that's not pedestrian, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I know. I would have gone straight for Nikita, but the fact that they said every other name but Nikita, I thought was hilarious.
Yes, but Nikita goes Max. And so Michelle goes, Max,
Period, bitch.
no one brought up Max. And so Max goes, period, bitch. That was
That was
funny.
hilarious.
I was not
And
expecting
her
that.
little spin, period, bitch.
Yes.
Everything.
It was so cunty. I was not expecting that, but that was so cunty. And I was like, this is amazing. This is good. Period, bitch. She was so like, that was so effortless. Shout out to Max because that was such a cute moment for her. But yes, but the majority of the queens, they kept saying everyone else's name but Nikita. So obviously it got to Brenda, and Brenda was doing deductive reasoning. Was like, any mitty mighty mo, nobody has said Nikita, so Nikita. And Nikita is obviously the right answer. And Brenda gets tie-dye. Again, I think that was a really great like fabric choice for Brenda. I think if anybody else would have got tie-dye, it would have been bad.
I couldn't see it being done by Lazy Susan. But yeah, it was perfect for Brenda.
Lazy Susan and tie-dye, that would have been fine. I could see that.
I thought it would have been funny.
Then the next one that gets the question is Brenda. And so Brenda goes, which queen do you think was going to mop drag? And for those who don't understand what mopping means, mopping is just a gay term for like stealing. So it's like, who's going to take your stuff? Because at first I was like mopping, and then I had to realize, I'm like, oh, mop means, oh, who's going to take this? Who's going to steal from you? And so Lazy Susan goes, Nikita, because she doesn't have any drag. She didn't bring any drag. And I was like,
that was shady as
Lazy
fuck.
Susan. It's like, ooh, Lazy Susan. But Nikita was not the right answer. And so Brenda goes next. And Brenda says Freya, which I'm surprised that they thought Freya would be the one to mop drag.
Honestly, I don't know who I would have picked for this. I don't know if we've gotten to know the queens well enough to be able to like kind of decide that, at least from a viewer perspective. So for that one for me was like, I don't know, it could have been anyone.
Yeah, I was just confused as to why they said Freya, right? Like Freya never gave me, well, obviously maybe it's the editing, maybe we're just not getting that part of Freya, but Freya didn't give me someone who was like gonna mop another queen's like drag. And so I was just a little taken aback at that. And I was like, that was interesting. But Brenda gets the right answer. She says Freya, and she gets LeMay. I hate LeMay as a fabric.
I hate LeMay. It is disgusting. Ugh, no, just no, never.
Yes. And the reason why I don't like LeMay is because LeMay can look really cheap really quickly. And like, that's the only thing, right? Like if you know how to use LeMay, then you can make an amazing garment out of LeMay. But if you don't know how to use LeMay, like LeMay it could just look really cheap.
Yeah, it can turn out looking like very cheap, like leather, just like a cheap costume, like very cheap futuristic look. I don't know. I've never liked LeMay. I would absolutely hate to have LeMay. I just definitely wouldn't. I think it would have been like my last choice, honestly.
Yes. Actually, no, Brenda doesn't get LeMay for this one. Brenda gets denim for this one because Brenda goes twice because she got the question right and then she goes get. So she got denim. So far, Brenda has tie-dye and denim. Then Brenda like gets the question, which is the queen to go home next? And I mean, if you've been watching the show, then Lucina Innocence is the correct answer. The girls have been telling her that she's going out day one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, everyone knew who it was. I think she even would have said herself, honestly.
But yeah. And that's when Brenda gets LeMay. So far, now Brenda has 3 fabrics that she can choose from. And so it's very interesting, Brenda's choices. So we have Max Drag Queen, she has checkered. We have Freya, which we don't see answer a question, but she gets Kitty Girl. We have Lazy Susan. Again, we don't see her answer the question. She gets pleather, which I thought was really smart for Lazy Susan to get. Really smart. Lucina has florals and sequins, but she keeps florals and she gives Vibe sequins because sequins is a hard fabric to sew. And Vibe has been in the top. That's a smart move.
It was a very smart move. That was very strategic. I would have done the same thing, honestly. Like, who's been winning so far? Let's give them the hardest fabric. Who might be doing a little worse than me? Let's also give them a hard fabric so I can just be safe.
Literally. Like, showgirls the bitch. Like, marbles. Like, that you're going down.
I feel like lately the girls have been too scared to do that.
That's smart, right? That's super smart. And I was like, there's a competition. Like, get the girls out. This is not RuPaul's best friend race. Get them out. And then Brenda.
No, absolutely.
So she has
like,
tie-dye. She has denim. Right. So we have Brenda. Brenda has tie-dye, she has denim, and she has LeMay. So Brenda gives Mandy Moves, the seamstress, the legend of Brisbane, LeMay. She gives Nikita denim, and she keeps tie-dye. That was a fucking choice. I'm
Yo,
sorry.
that I would not have chosen tie dye. I would have chosen denim. I would have given Nikita tie dye, left Mandy with LeMay, or maybe even switched it up, giving Mandy tie dye and Nikita LeMay. But I would absolutely not have kept tie dye because that fabric was disgusting.
Fabric was disgusting. Like, you are going to give LeMay to Mandy Moves because you're like, oh, she can sew whatever, which is true because it's a seamstress, she's the legend, right? So like, she's legendary. Um, and so she's like, she will body this, like the sewing machine, but like, why not give Nikita the hard fabric to use because put her in the bottom, like get her out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you
That's absolutely what I would have
give
done.
yourself denim? That was stupid. And you saw all the other queens. They was looking at Brenda like, why would she do that?
Like, why would you keep fucking tie dye? It made no sense. Like, all the queens were shocked
No.
that she decided to keep that box.
Yes. Like, that was stupid. And then obviously, going into the challenge, Mandy Moves is the one to beat. Like, this is her challenge. I think it was really refreshing to see the legend of Brisbane like come to life in this episode. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was such an amazing like moment for her. But I also thought it was really endearing that the other queens were like, this is Mandy's competition. Like, this is her challenge. If she fucks this up, then she would never be able to live shit down. And I was like, wow, so she must be a really great seamstress.
Yeah, and I mean, I was excited to see what she was going to do, but not going to lie, I was also a little worried. Based on the editing, I felt like they were kind of trying to set her up to fail. So I was a little nervous that she was going to like fuck that up royally. And actually, I'll stop right there. But I was really excited to see what she was going to do.
Yeah. And I could see what you mean with the edit, because normally what they do, like they set us up to think like, oh, they put so much pressure on like the one who is supposed to be doing really well in this particular challenge, and then they end up bombing. So, but let's get into the looks. So the runway category is fierce, fabulous, fashion, which I was like, okay, that's cute. And Isis Avis Loren is back as the mentor, which makes sense because her wedding dress that she made in season 4 was really great. So she's another bitch that can sew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she is a great seamstress. I was excited to see if she had passed some of that on to Max,
Max,
but
the jury is still out.
it's not. I guess sewing is not genetic.
Not at all. Lady Susan is first. And so she had pleather. I thought the
Mm-hmm.
dress was cute. It was a cute concept. Obviously, was giving the devil, but I thought it was a very safe dress for me.
I agree. I thought it was a very safe look. I thought it was very well constructed. The one thing I really did like about it, like a lot, was that wig reveal she did with like the horns and like the 4 little hairs on top. I just thought that was very on brand for Lazy Susan.
Yes. I just didn't understand. I thought that was cute. I thought it was very intentional because when you take the wig off, like you could see the horns like do it, and the like the hair choice was very intentional, right? It's like 4 pieces of hair, which makes sense. I just didn't get the letter that was attached to her butt. I was
It
confused.
said, what did it say? It said, "We'll sell souls for a win." I thought it was funny. I thought it was cute.
Okay, so now that makes sense. But that was the only thing that
Yeah.
like was like threw me off a little bit. I was like, why is this like why is this paper on her butt? So I was like, But again, I thought it was a very safe look for Lazy Susan. It wasn't nothing to like fangirl about, but it was cute.
Yeah, I agree.
Next was Lucina Innocent. She had florals. So I thought the base of the dress was great.
Well,
Where she
gorgeous.
lost
Absolutely.
me, right. Like, but where she
Like the
lost me was all the fucking rosettes.
the dress itself, like the black part of the dress was beautiful. The fabric was beautiful. It was very beautifully constructed. It hugged her body so well, perfect length. The red roses were a choice. I think Vibe said it well. She passed on the rosebud aesthetic to her. It didn't make any sense to me. I think it would have been better. Like, I think as she just put the red roses on the bottom of the dress and kind of like stacked them in the bottom and kind of ombre them up a little bit, I think that would have been fine and maybe had some on the sleeves. She absolutely did not need any on the rest of the dress. I think it just should have been on the bottom, on the sleeves, none on the collar, none on everything else. That's it. And I think she would have looked beautiful and she
That's
would have been
it.
safe.
Right. She
Yeah.
would have been in the top because the base of the dress was amazing. It was really
Yeah.
well constructed. Her
And the
face
bitch
was
looked
great.
gorgeous.
Yes, but all those other placements of those roses was given no ma'am. And I was just like, tag Nikita. It's just like you had to edit and she didn't edit at all.
You mean Lucina?
Right, I know. Next was Nikita Iman. Let me tell you, when that bitch came around that corner and she stood there and did that fucking lean back
Bitch looked
and
gorgeous.
just soaked it in, I said, you better.
No,
That's all I can say.
Yeah, I love this look. I was not expecting this from Nikita. Like, I was really excited as she was constructing the dress to see what she was going to come up with, because obviously we could see her pulling out the wires and making this like headpiece or this neck piece that she was doing. So I was really excited. And then when she came out in that, I was so pleasantly surprised. I loved it. I loved the graffiti. It was very street wear. I love the wig that she chose. I thought that was so cunty.
Yes.
I just thought everything about it worked so well.
I was like, bitch, you better eat, okay? She fucking ate that look up. What just sold it for me was when she just did that fucking lean back. She just leaned with it. It was like, I swear that's probably the cuntiest lean back. It was so good. And she knew she was eating. Like, she knew it was everything.
Her confidence exuded really well on that runway, and I think she absolutely devoured that challenge.
Yes.
She was my favorite of the night.
I was going to say over, but I know how much you're over me saying over, so I didn't say over. She was my second favorite of the night.
No, she was my favorite.
Then we have Brenda Brest.
But we can get into the other one.
Okay. So then we have Brenda Brest. So obviously Brenda Brest had tie-dye. I thought the dress was cute, but that reveal...
That was clunky as fuck. That was so messy. I thought the dress itself, her outfit was fine. Nothing to write home about. It was well constructed. It was something simple. She kept it basic. I thought it was a very safe look. I did not agree with the judges' critiques that it was overly accessorized. I didn't really understand that critique. I thought they just pulled that out of their ass. But that reveal was horrible. And it really ruined the runway.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on the judges. Like, the critiques was out of nowhere. Like, they was misplaced a little bit. And so for me, I was just like, it didn't make sense to me. But I can see, I like the glasses. Michelle said the over accessories was the glasses. I thought the glasses worked. I didn't like the bracelets. So I think if she could take the bracelets off, then maybe. But just the reveal was just like, just was like, no. So it took me out of the fantasy. I was so focused on the reveal that I kind of forgot that the dress was well put together and well constructed.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, I was surprised with the final result because based on what she was constructing, it did not look very cute. You know, Lazy Susan was reading her. She's like, that fabric is ugly. So I fully expected her to come out looking like a clown. And I thought she looked beautiful. And it was very on brand for her.
Yeah. It was on brand for Brenda Brest. Next was Vibe. And honestly, for a queen who does not know how to sew or can't sew that well, I thought it was a really great, well-constructed garment.
That bitch fucking lied. She definitely knows how to sew because you absolutely cannot make that dress out of sequins fabric if you don't know how to sew. That bitch lied. I do not believe her. But it was a beautiful dress.
And
I loved it. I thought she looked gorgeous. And she had a keyhole. Like, bitch, you can't tell me you don't know how to sew and you put a fucking keyhole in a dress that was made out of sequins fabric. Lies.
Made a keyhole. Like, for someone who doesn't know how to sew or can't sew that well, according to Vibe, it was such a great dress. It was very on brand.
Didn't she even have ruffles on the dress?
She did. She had ruffles on the dress, on the slit, on the train. She surely did. It was well constructed. It was very on brand for Vibe. And I was just like, you better, bitch. You better.
Yeah,
Next up was Freya.
I think so. I thought
the idea. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. She probably did. Knowing Vibe, it's all part of the competition. So if she did lie, if Vibe lied, I was like, if she did Vibe, but if Vibe lied and said that she couldn't sew, it's very strategic. We know that one. You got to watch out for that one. So next up was Freya. The idea of the dress was cute. The execution was bad.
I don't think it was horrible though. I agree with you. The idea wasn't quite there. But overall, for somebody who doesn't know how to sew, like that is somebody I believe does not know how to sew, and you could tell in the construction of the dress. But I thought the design was
Right.
a good idea. I think she did adequate enough, honestly. I thought she looked beautiful. I love the hair, love the makeup. I think had the dress been properly constructed and had Mandy moves gotten to her maybe a little sooner, I thought she would have been perfectly safe.
Yeah. I was just like, yeah. It was just like, yeah. But I just think Mandy helped her. And that's all I liked the dress. I thought with the mermaid, I thought that was cute. I thought the idea was great. The execution of it, I can see some like hymns, and it was bothering me because I can see the opportunities, but she was selling it. Like
I
I
think it
can't
was
take that
very
away from
stupid
her.
of her. Oh, yeah, absolutely Sunday. But I think it was very stupid of her to go for such a big dress and like something so difficult to sew when you don't know how to sew, bitch. You should have done just a simple like maxi dress, something very simple, keep it short, keep it simple. She decided to do a mermaid skirt. Like, girl, no.
Right. She overcomplicated the shit out of that dress, and it showed. Next up was Max Drag Queen. So now, this is Isis's daughter, and
Cheers.
you would think that the seamstress will sprinkle a little bit of like skills on her daughter. No,
Clearly she's adopted
no, ma'am.
because that was so disappointing. I expected so much from her. And especially with the fabric she got, I thought that was perfect for Max. And then she came out in this basic ass jumpsuit. It didn't look good. I don't know. It wasn't horrible. I just thought it was very basic, nothing to write home about. I think she should have kept her original idea with the skirt. It was Max, it was just a no. I don't know. And I thought the silhouette was just bad. It just made it look very flat. Like it was just not cute.
Yes. For some reason, I feel like she needed some body. Like she needed some
Yeah.
padding or
Especially for this
something.
outfit, she
Give me a little bit
absolutely
of
made it for
boob, give me little hips. Yes, give me some body. And I just was like, she just flat. Like she was just giving me boy, and it was bothering me.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with that necessarily, but I mean, just compared to the other looks that came down the runway, I just thought it was very boring, very basic. She could have done way more. And come on, if your mother is Isis Ibis Loren, like, girl, she better disown you.
Like, right. And so next up, that's my favorite look of the episode. It's none other than the legend herself, Mandy Moves. Now, when Mandy came around the corner and I saw the corset, which was a bone corset, I saw the execution, the trim of the blue. She used all the colors of the lame fabric in such an intentional way. You can tell that this is her passion. And that dress to me was so well constructed. It to me was up there with the likes of like a Trinity the Tuck dress. And we all know Trinity can bang out a garment for a challenge like nobody's business. And
Yes,
Mandy did just that.
yes. So my initial reaction when she turned around, was ill. But it had nothing to do with the construction of the dress and 100% everything to do with the fabric, which is not her fault at all. She did what needed to be done with the fabric that she had and with the time that she had. I thought the actual dress was impeccably constructed. Like there was so much detail on that. Like she made a corset, she made a whole gown. Like she had panels, it was beautiful. The pleats, everything. Like this is a masterclass of like sewing. Like she pulled out all the tricks. I didn't like the dress
She did.
because of the fabric, but I gotta hand it to her because the
Yeah.
bitch did the damn thing. Like that dress was like
Yes. It was so good. She even got a standing ovation from Isis. Like, that dress, like, she did it. And it's rare when we get like an edit, right? Or when we get the producers throwing it in our face that this person is as a master at this craft. And then they translate that to the runway. Like, it's rare that we get that. And when we did, like, I was not disappointed. Like, you can tell that she really enjoys what she does. And so that's what exuded from the dress. To me, it was like, this
Yeah.
is just her
No,
passion. Like, it was like boom in my face.
this was absolutely Mandy's episode, and I had to keep rewatch. Like literally after she walked on the runway, I kept rewinding it because every time I would rewind it and rewatch it, I would find a new detail. And I'm like, oh my god, like how did this bitch find the time to do that? Like it was insane.
Yes. And I was like, wow. And so back in the workroom, they're untucking. And obviously Vibe is in the top, Mandy Moobs is in the top, and Nikita's in the top. And Nikita was like, as much as I wanted to win, the challenge is going to Mandy. Like, Mandy has it in the bag. And I thought, like, to me, honestly, I thought Nikita and Mandy did such an amazing job with the challenge that either one of them could have won, and it could have been a double win for me. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that I think it could have. I had a really hard time choosing between who I wanted to win. On one hand, Nikita had my favorite design, my favorite look of the night. I thought it was very futuristic, very fashion forward. It was it was something I definitely would have worn. On the other hand, Mandy, I didn't like the look again, 100% to do with the fabric and not what she did with it. But like, it was so perfectly constructed and just like, it was just genius that like, I just think based on the fact that it was a design challenge and a construction challenge, 100% should have gone to Mandy. And not that Nikita's was easy to construct either,
Yeah,
but like, I think it should have gone to Mandy.
right. No, it's true. No, I totally understand what you mean. So yeah, then we find out that the bottoms are Brenda Bress, Lucina Innocence, and Freya Armani, which means Max Drag Queen and Lazy Susan are safe. And obviously, the legend of Brisbane wins. So Mandy Moves ends up winning the challenge, which was obvious because Mandy bodied this challenge. There was only the person that came a little close to her was Nikita, but even Nikita was real far off from Mandy's execution of her dress. So shout out to Mandy. Such an amazing episode. This
My
was
fa-
your episode. I don't know how much I can say how much I love the dress.
what I thought was really funny was after Mandy was declared the winner, and then Vibe was declared safe, or like RuPaul called, sorry, not RuPaul, Michelle called Vibe's name, and she's like, "It's a tie, isn't it?" I died. I was dying of laughter. I thought that was so funny.
Yes. She's coming with her one-liners this season too. She's another one that you gotta watch. She is comedic relief, that Vibe. And so out of the bottom three, we find out that Lucina Innocence and Freya Armani are the bottom two. And they lip sync to What About Me by Motion Pictures. I've never heard that song before.
Me neither. I had no idea what that song was. What did you think of the lip sync?
Okay. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, but it was a really good lip sync. To be 100% honest, and this is just my opinion, I thought both of them did really well, and I would have been excited to see both of them stay. So I'm a little mad that she used the double Shantae for the first episode because I thought this was a double Shantae for me, in my opinion. But Freya tapped into something in this lip sync that was magical.
Yeah, so I kind of
Like,
disagree with
Lucina
you.
was good,
I don't
but
think they
Freya
both did
tapped
really
into
well.
something that
I think
I was like,
Freya
wow.
I think Freya absolutely devoured Lucina. I did not expect that from her, especially with this song. She showed so much emotion. Like she was really selling the song up there. And I think that's exactly like if you look back to our definition of a lip sync assassin, it's Freya. Like the bitch ate that song up. She knew every word, every beat. She really sold the emotion. I wasn't even looking at Lucina at all, even when they were both in the frame. I was just looking at Freya the whole time.
Yeah. Freya tapped into something deep down within the song that I was just like, this is magical. Like, this is good. That was high drag.
That was high drag, baby. That the bitch did not want to go home, and you could tell, and she absolutely devoured.
Yes, she did. And so, obviously, based on our critiques, you can tell that Freya wins and Lucina ends up being eliminated. I'm really excited for Lucina. I thought she went further than what I expected her to go. To be honest, I thought she'd have been the first one out, just based on just how my expectations for Lucina. But she grew on me. Still don't know who she is as a drag queen. I still don't know what her personality is. I think I got every single episode. I think I got a different Lucina. So that was also really hard for me to gravitate towards her. I don't know what her brand is. But I'm excited to see what she's going to bring after the season is over.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what she does in the future. I'd be really excited to see what she does in a couple years. Maybe bring her back for a Versus the World or an All Stars or something once she's had time to bake and really figure out who Lucina is. I think that she'll be really good. But at this moment in time, or at least at the time that the show was filmed, I think she just needed a little more time to figure out who her drag persona really is.
Right. I agree.
But gorgeous queen.
Well, yes, gorgeous. So, all in all, what did you think of this episode?
I really liked it. Definitely a lot better than the last two episodes. So I'm really excited moving forward to see what the rest of the season gives. I'm really hoping that those last two episodes were just a little hiccup, that the rest of the season is really great. This kind of reinvigorated my excitement for the season. And I'm really excited to see what comes next.
Awesome. Same. I was like, okay, we need some filler episodes. And I think episode 2 and episode 3 were kind of like filler episodes. Well, not so much 2. I enjoyed episode 2, but episode 3 for a fact was a filler episode for me. This episode, I was like, yes, give me what I needed. It was great. I was really excited to see the talent in this episode. I thought overall, I think this is probably one of the strongest design challenge looks holistically as a cast. I thought that was great for what they did. It's pretty strong. And I'm excited to see what the rest of the season is going to bring. But in terms of what we're doing here at No Ma'am, obviously we are going to be reviewing Canada, which they just dropped their season 5 first episode. So cute. I thought that was a really great episode. So excited to hear our thoughts on that piece. I have a few standouts. I won't go too much on this one, but there's a few people who stood out to me on Canada's season 5's first episode. So what about you?
I loved it. I thought it was really cute. I already have some favorites. I think it's a really good cast so far, and I'm excited to see how the season pans out.
You know that season 5s tend to be the good ones. Has some of the most iconic cast members from RuPaul's Drag Race. So season 5.
I mean,
season 6 tends to be the strongest winners for some reason. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see what Canada gives. Canada is one of my favorite franchises, so I'm really excited that we're going to be reviewing that one.
Yes. So yep. So be on the lookout for those episodes. Like we said in a previous one, we are booked and busy. We are just reviewing, obviously, Down Under season 4. So we're excited for the rest of the season. We're going to start reviewing Canada season 5. So excited for that season. We still have some interviews coming up. Can't really go into detail about those, but they're super fun. They're going to be really exciting interviews with some of our favorite people. And be on the lookout for us just doing some collaboration with a few other podcasters. I'm excited about that. I'm sure Jhoany is excited about it as well. But as always, right, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a single episode of No Ma'am. And if you are listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or any of other podcasting platforms, please rate us 5 stars so we can start getting into the top podcast list. I would like to see No Ma'am as a popular podcast. But we only could do that if you rate us 5 stars and comment. So ensure you do that. And as always, we'll have you saying no ma'am in no time. Bye.